Welcome back to another exciting moment. I'm pretty excited to sort of hopefully finish up in a sense of sort of a full package of things. Yeah, so hope everyone had a good weekend. I'm just going to check that my voice is coming through at a reasonable volume. Oh, I don't understand why this music's still playing. Pretty sure I stopped it. There we go. Hello. Hello. There we go. Okay. I clearly did not stop it. So, whatever. You can pretend we stopped it and it was amazing. So, all right. Exciting to come back to the code after a weekend. Yeah, I don't know what people did over the weekend. Hope it was all good. What did I do? Oh, hang out with the family. I don't think I did anything too crazy, and that's good. Last night I was picking up the baby and my back hurt, and I was like, oh, I'm getting old. I'm not that old, so clearly I'm aging. So yeah, I've got some nice cookies here. I think I got 3 left. I don't know if you can see it there, but let me hold it up with my fingers. There we go. Oh, I'm dripping. It's palm sugar. throw that away. Palm sugar cookies. I have a nice bottle of water to keep me hydrated. Let's have a little sip. Ooh, so that's good. So, all right. Now that we've been hydrated, let's have a look at what our oops. Let's make sure my backup laptop is plugged in. Otherwise, things are going to go crazy. No, that used to be there, but now it's this side. There we go. Okay, make sure everyone is receiving power, because the worst thing we have is, oops, my battery powered device is no longer powered. It's just dead. So, all right, what are we working on? Let's have a quick recap after the weekend, because just like everyone else, his brain is turned off. Hopefully, turned off over the weekend. Um, my brain is turned off. So, what we got in this repo over here? Let's go there. Hey, nice and big. Is just a repo that's going to be in action. Nothing really exciting with quantum documentation and issues and stuff, but we're having a bot, and this bot is basically going to come in here and say, oh, someone opened an issue, in this case test issue. Scrolling down, come on internet, it's not that intense. Let's refresh the page entirely. There we go. I don't know why I couldn't load it. Maybe page mistake. And then when this page opens, it will come here and say, oh, which of these, for example, I'm going to pick one of these areas. I call it areas, but I'm going to have different combinations. I'm going to have like operating system, for example. Let's show you what I mean by that. So they come in here, it's going to be like, let's do this, like OS slash Windows. And let's copy red, make it green. And of course, we're going to do, oops, OS slash iOS. And of course, that, and of course one final one, so we don't have to spend too long here, OS slash Mac OS, and paste that there. You know what, actually let's do full selection, OS slash Android, right? We can't forget that those devices, amazing out there, free open source operating system that anyone can make use of. All right, there we go. So in our label, in our repo, we've sort of got these chunks of labels. In my case, I'm separating chunks by some sort of category, if you will, slash this sort of the item in the category. In this case, I've got OS slash Android, iOS, or Mac OS, and Windows, and I've got area. Like this one, it's got bug, but technically, I might do like, for example, over here, this would be like T slash enhancement, maybe T slash enhancement, right? So maybe T slash question. I don't know, yeah, like that, right? So if we refresh this to see the groups, we have basically this group, we have this group, and of course we have this group, right? And the other ones doesn't really matter, whatever, extra labels. And then I want, when I open an issue, I want AI to look at this and say, oh, this issue is seems to be talking about AI or action. Alright, this needs to apply the GitHub Action label. This appears to be, I don't know, nothing. So either pick an operating system or not an operating system, and the same thing, I'll pick like this be a bug. So in this case, let's just read that. Can we do this for Android or iOS? Let's do that. So the AI is going to read this issue and say, okay, we need to stick on the action label, we need to stick on the iOS label, and of course, we need to stick on the bug label, right? It's a bug relating to the iOS not applying action. It's not a valid issue, right? Because iOS and actions don't really matter, but AI, right? AI will figure it out, we hope. So that's what we want. So we've gone ahead and decided to create our bot that's going to use its brains from OpenAI. There are other ways. I do know we have another thing we used in the .NET team. It's called MIC label, and that allows us to basically download all the issues, all the labels, you send it through the machine AI .NET ML.NET, and it will create a model for you, and then you know apply the labels that way via the model. Now that is one way to do it, but that involves multiple steps. And for example, downloading the issues. It's a one-time thing. Every time you create a new label, you have to retrain. But basically, you download all the issues and the labels. You tell AI this is what the labels were, this is the issues that have them. Then it will learn, and then when a new issue comes in, it sort of looks at the past and say, okay, this is likely this label. However, that's work. We could also just say, AI, please tell us the answer and skip all the steps. And that's what we're going to try to do today. I think it's working okay, but obviously my issue is curated to pick a label so that I can demonstrate the label picking process works. So we'll see on a real repo later. Not sure we can get to it today, but whatever. And the way I'm doing that, if we look at the code, is I have a GitHub action that right now is a super duper simple composite action. Let's crack that down one level. And that's just going to do some stuff, but what really happening under the hood is just collecting information and then sending it to a method, which I have, not a method, sort of an endpoint in the cloud, and the cloud's going to tell me the label. So that cloud is my Azure service that has multiple folders with stuff in it, but let's ignore that for now. So that's my old V1 thing that I was playing with. And this is labeled by AI. I think this is the project. This is the project. I don't know. I can clean this up. Basically, it has an Azure function, right, that does some stuff. It uses the new Microsoft extensions.ai. It's under the hood. It is using OpenAI client. So this is using the real OpenAI.NET library. And basically, we're going to come in with a request. We do some validation over here of our request. We then create a chat system, messages, chat, and assistant. And we have a look at those messages. We do a bunch of logging so we can figure out if something goes wrong. We then go ask chat client, which is just OpenAI. We say, OpenAI, please give us answer. And OpenAI responds kindly, and we return that back to the action. So our prompt is relatively long. I'm actually going to try and ask AI to give me the prompt, but so far this is working, so we're not going to focus on that right now. Basically, here's a big prompt, and we say, hey, give us the JSON in this format, label and reason only in this format. And then, yeah, and then it somehow obeys, and if it doesn't always obey, well, that's not for us to worry about. AI will fix it. But yeah, and for this process, we're using .NET Aspire because it's really, really cool to get things up and running. Is it the perfect solution for everything? I don't know. We'll figure it out eventually. But my package, if you will, my full solution is going to be using App Insights to track issues and errors and all that. And then it's going to have, I'm currently using a pre-hosted OpenAI model just to save time. But I'm effectively going to be using this in production to say, hey, give me an OpenAI using the OpenAI model, GPT-4o Mini, and I pass that OpenAI, and we're going to pass it to the function. So the function is going to use OpenAI over there, along with insights and storage. So that's it. That's the entire package. It's all done and dusted, and the real part we're going to be looking at now is to clean up this a bit, maybe clean up the function a bit. In fact, while we wait for that, let's just open this project, and then we're going to try, oh, I moved something, I think. Let's see if Visual Studio recognizes .NET Conf is coming up. Got two sessions happening. The backend. Oh yes, I moved into the backend. Let's see. Oh, everything's nice and big. Great. Minimize everything. Let's go back to Visual Studio. Oh, Visual Studio is choking on a 2-project solution. It's a bit scary. 3 projects. Let's quickly close all tabs. So there we go, right? So that's effectively our whole solution. And yeah, I mean, I've deployed it to the cloud previously with Azure, a AZD app somewhere along the line over the top here. Azure was kind enough to have a basically one function AZD app, which gives us the whole thing. And let's go have a look at the portal. We can look at some numbers to see how much it cost us over the weekend. Portal, Azure OpenAI, and let's go to the work portal. MSDG. Okay, so my current, where I've deployed this just for now is I thought AI was super expensive. Turns out that's probably the cheapest part of the system. So I did it in my sort of my work account because the company was going to pay for that because we get to play with stuff. But unfortunately, it turned out to be super cheap. So I'm also reusing one sort of general AI. I actually don't want to do that. I want to look at the monitoring costs. Where's the cost analysis? There we go. So this has been running for a couple of weeks. I don't think you pay for it just to exist. I'm not sure about that, but right now it's still less than a cent, even though I did a crazy amount of requests, and you'll see how many requests I did by looking at let's have a look. Cost analysis, right? Entire resource group with everything. This one also has AI in it. I accidentally deployed AI to this, even though I wasn't using it. Let's see if we can get a cost. I deployed this yesterday. Oh, it's Friday or Thursday. Still no money. It's still basically free at this point. Fingers crossed. Oh, there's some numbers. There's $6, right? So, Azure Container Registry. Actually, it's probably cheaper to store in Docker, which is free. Here's the money. The container registry is very expensive, it looks like, and the container app is running, which is the Azure function, but we shall see. So the total price is $8. It is like been 3 days, so you have to talk to the company about that. I don't feel like paying $6 just to have a Docker registry, right? We can use free ones on Docker. So what I might do is figure out how to deploy this to Docker. But yeah, and the container app, obviously we've got to pay to use functions, but for $1 a day, $30 a month, $300, $400 a year. Now bucks, if you look at real money, so one ZAR to use USD because that's the currency of the world. I mean, it's that, right? So let's say about $1, $18, right? So if I was do 365, 64, it's $20 a year. So this is obviously with my 20 tests, right? So if it reaches thousands of users every second, I think prices will go up. But at that point, I'm probably going to say I can't do everything for free for you folks. Someone's got to contribute financially to the project. But we'll see, right? I'm not scraping for cash right now. We just trying to get something something in the world. So how does our actual communication happen? So we've got this backend running as we saw with the code, and it is a single function right now. I had some ideas over the weekend, like I can do amazing things, but basically I have some sort of AI, these couple of lines and this one, that's all it is. How do I get to the things? Obviously the function does it, the function does the work and the action does the sending. So let's have a look. Now I was going to do a super complicated, testing and, Node.js. And I was like, wait a minute, all I'm doing is taking the issued JSON that comes from GitHub by starting an action and sending that to Azure. Like I was doing some complicated stuff here already. Like for example, here's me deserializing the JSON into an object, and then I do some logging, obviously, and then I create this custom object. And I'm like, wait a minute, that is great, but right now this is just a single function that takes a title and a body, and that's it. What if I ever want to do something more? And one of my ideas was to, for example, have some sort of rating system to find sort of up and coming, highly trending, popular issues and allow me to sort of sort them on a dashboard at some point. And that I may need information like comments and other factors like number of reactions. So that's a cool next project. But for now, our whole system is designed just with this little bit. So I think, wait a minute, what if I future-proof this and just send the entire JSON that I get from GitHub to this function and let the function do this work, right? Why does the function do it? This is hard to test. There's a bit of PowerShell and stuff like that. So then also if I have a complicated function, for example, doing the whole calculation of like, the score, an issue score. I need to work out, what are the reactions on there, the text contents to see the person is the long details, are there lots of people reacting, are there comments? Now, in the way this thing loads, it doesn't actually load the comments by default. So I still have to query GitHub to say, GitHub, give me the comments. Now, I can do everything in here, or I can rather just offload everything to the function to do it. So what we're going to do now is just have a look and see what happens when the function runs. And then where's my code? And then of course we're going to clean up the code, make the function do the GitHub action do less, and let the function do more. And that will basically sort of, I want to start like sort of a service class or like a function. The function is going to be a thin layer that then talks to a backend sort of service class that I can then use maybe one day to actually have a custom dashboard I want to create. So you can go to like www.myproject.com/dashboard and all your issues, pull requests, trending things. Maybe you got like a company chat where you can leave notes on issues. I don't know, something like that, right? So yeah, big ideas, gonna solve all the world's open source problems, obviously in 1 week, but hopefully. Okay, so I'm currently working, and we make sure I've pulled all the code. Yes, action testing, fetch it. Code is currently running, and when it runs, the AI is going to run. Right now, we're just logging the AI. I'm going to right now using GraphQL to basically add labels. So AI will run. Here's our action going. And here's the final graded action, and the reasoning is each described from related GitHub actions, which falls under the area action label as it pertains to actions being executed or not executed properly. Right. So AI is currently working. If we have a look at this sort of the final result. So amazingness, AI is done. So let's clean up our code, redeploy, and while that is deploying, we're going to look at making our GitHub action sort of do the work of labeling. Now, for this particular action at this particular time, I am going to first get it to do the labeling in here and make sure it works all nicely, and then I'm going to see later on to say, okay, can we get the function to do the labeling, right? We can talk to the GitHub APIs directly from the function. So this GitHub action is basically going to be some super thin calling the Azure function. Now, the reason I said I want to use the Azure function is that I want to make a dashboard in the far future, and if the action does the work, I can always put the GitHub code, not the GitHub, the .NET code into like a Docker container that then the action can run, for example, locally. However, to solve the problem right now, to sort of get it to work, I'm going to leave code all over the place. But my whole goal in the future is to have a fancy dashboard. So the action is going to be like call a single API function endpoint with an issue number. Oh, someone added a comment to issue number 6. The function is going to say, okay, I understand what's happening. Someone's added a comment to issue number 6. Go to some sort of service class that I'm going to write, does all the work. That's going to talk to AI. That's going to talk to GitHub, do the work, and then the function is going to return. So like right now, for example, over here, I'm saying when the issue runs, give me the list of issues. Now this is running in the GitHub action, which means this GitHub, the Azure function or my dashboard in the future is not going to know what issues exist. So I'm going to have to query issues on that side. But for now, I'm just leaving it here so we don't have to do too much work And of course, I might actually check this evening to see if maybe I can get um, the GitHub Action to the Azure Function, get my words right to do this work for us. And then we can reduce the work here. So it is, if we were to do this all, we can do all of what we're doing in the GitHub Action, right? I can write PowerShell, I can write a node little function to do all the work, right? Talking to OpenAI is not that super complicated, but as I said, I have a goal for having a dashboard, so I would like to go to a dashboard and say, label all the issues, and you can check the labels and ask the relabels. The label one is specifically weird in that you don't really need a dashboard to that. You sort of want it to happen in action. But the code that I'm writing now to do AI, I may want to do for other things, like to say, hey, I've got this issue open, are the labels correct? Maybe I've mislabeled it or something. And I have that on a dashboard. But for now, this one, I have an idea to do, for example, as I mentioned, to find the hot and trending issues. That technically can also all be done in the GitHub Action, right? All we need to do is download, let's say, the issues in the last 10 days and sort of give them a score via some algorithm, and then we get the list. But that's currently all going to be in GitHub, and you can't sort of, where you're going to put that, I was thinking maybe put in a wiki or something, right? Update the wiki. Whereas if I have a custom dashboard, it'd be nice to have it there. We can do sorting and filtering and stuff like that. Strange sounds on there. I don't know what that is. But anyway, so enough rambling on. I've been rambling for 30 minutes. Let's go have a look at our code. Azure function, as I mentioned, we have this custom input that's going to come from GitHub, and we're building it up over here. So what we're going to do is we're just going to first test cd backend, and we just do azd up. Let's just see. Oops, I have to start Docker too, because that's going to be used for something else, or that's going to be used for the function. So let's run azd up, and it's basically going to push what we have, which is basically what's up there now, and it's going to say no changes were detected. But let me have another sip of water. It's just going to push it up. He's a thirsty boy. All the bicep stuff I said I never ever want to do ever. So we have a look at our current code. As I mentioned, while we wait for Azure to go up, let's go figure out. So the way I've done the GitHub Action, I'm going to go make it do the labeling. Apply label, right? So this is the property we're going to use, whether or not to apply the label automatically. So by default, we do want it. Let's minimize the inputs. Let's minimize. So this, I've broken this up into steps. The reason I want that is that it looks cool to have multiple steps. But I would want this thing to find the label, and then I want the next step to do the labeling, so that I can, if I've got a condition over here to basically say, hey, I may not want to apply the label. So instead of doing complicated logic in the PowerShell script, just do that. And it also allows me to, maybe one day you have a pipeline that wants to do the labeling, but you want to do it in your own way. Rather, you don't want to actually label the issue. You want to, send a notification or whatever. You can use this one and say, hey, don't automatically apply the label, use this action, and you can include that action. So if we look at the way the workload, right, the default workload that you would have to do to make this all work is effectively, I need to clean it up, is ignore this code, or ignore all of this, right? So your action would be basically that, and you would have this running on that, right? This is effectively how your workflow would be in your repo, right? Say, hey, when an issue is opened, start this workflow, and this workflow will basically use a single action. But this one would have outputs that would then you can decide, hey, I don't want to apply the label automatically. I would like to just log it. Maybe you would like to, you know, say, oh, this area is for, say actions or the documentation, and then you can use that to assign a person to it, right? So based on whatever algorithm, logic, rules you want in your particular repository. So for now, I have split this up into a bunch of login code, which then effectively reads the labels from GitHub, says, hey, what are the labels in this repo that match, in our particular case, a pattern? And then we say, hey, send that along with the content to the Azure function. And then, of course, we just log all the cool responses and say, hey, this is what happened. Here is our cool label. Now, what we want to do now in this section is to actually apply the label. So I don't think we need that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to minimize this. Let's quickly copy this grouping stuff because it's cool to have groups. Close that step so we get to work with. So we come over here and we want to figure out how do we apply a label with GitHub. So for now, I'm just going to, you know what? Let's practice with the GraphQL. Let's do that. So GitHub GraphQL. You know what? Even more GraphQL. Let's go to chat. Go to OpenAI. We're going to ask OpenAI, give me a GraphQL request. Can you give me a GitHub GraphQL GraphQL for applying a label to an issue? There you go. We're playing with, as you can tell on the side here, with ChatGPT, and it's been helping me learn about many things. So mutation, add label. We got label ID, label ID, and label IDs. Variables issue ID here. Sample usage, we give this issue repo, issue number. Okay, first I have to get the issue ID. Okay, but I need to get its ID. Is the ID, where's my sample response? I have a sort of a demo data over here. Does it have an ID? Oh, there's sweetness. There's a sweetness. And then the labels I get back from GitHub, let's have a look. I have it in my history. So I do a request on GitHub query and say, hey, give me labels. As you can tell here, things are going horribly wrong. Here's my labels, scrolling to a real thing, and I don't know how to. You know what? Let's do GraphQL. Let's get the labels. So right now, in my action, I am getting labels. Where is this? We scroll this here. Labels. Here we go. I'm using the GitHub command line tool, but I think it's time to use GraphQL. Do not be afraid of the QL. I'm afraid of it, so we will be unafraid of it. Get issue ID, issue number, repository, issue, and we get the number, right? Get the label IDs in the same way. There we go, and apply the use that one. So 3 requests. Get it. Yeah. Can I get a list of? Oh, I've got the ID from GitHub, right? The GitHub Action has the issue ID. Can I get a list of labels? Labels with the ID and name in a GitHub GraphQL request. And how would I do that using PowerShell? There we go. GraphQL, let's see what I do. Own a repo, and we want the labels first 100. Can we filter? Yeah, we can't filter by using regex, the question. Here we go, we've got a query in the GraphQL, my token. Okay. At this point now I'm thinking to myself, have I just gone too far, right? I can do this so much easier in C# code. Um, I'll try and not do that for now. Let's get right, find the label, replace placeholders, GitHub personal action, run the script. Example output. Okay. May have over engineered myself here. Like, so this is fine, right? I'm getting my labels, I've got the issue, and I send it to the. Should I just use the GitHub command line to apply the label? Right? And just do applying the label. Applying the label. Right, let's just do that. Can I use a let's just get through it. Can I use the GitHub CLI tool to apply a label? There we go. It's probably gonna be like one line. Yeah, look at that. It's incredible. Comma separated list. You are okay. Um, let's just do that, right? Let's see. Do I have to pass in some sort of repo? The repo URL, JSON, then right? Let's do that. So let's see what that is. GitHub issue edit issue number. So this will be GitHub issue. Let's use this. Actually, this can also have outputs, right? So I'm writing here we go. Selected label, selected rule, issue underscore number. There we go. And then we're doing this is dollar issue. And what issue is it? How do we know what the number is? ID, we don't want that. Number. Alright, just issue dot number. So issue dot number, and we write this. We're writing issue number, selected label, selected reason. We also want to add a comment. So that's what we do. Apply the label and add a comment to say why we applied said label. And do issue number. So this GH token is for the CLI tool. Edit repo URL. Oh, we don't need, also need the repo URL. Where is the repo repository URL? Here we go. Actually, I don't need to do that, Matthew. Find the label, so let's pop that over there. We know how to get the issue number because it's quite simple. We go over here, issue number, and copy this, github.issue.number. I think that's issue number. So we're going to GitHub issue edit repo label name. So we're going to do selected label $env colon that, and of course the issue number is going to be this issue number. All right, that's it. So let's run this locally and see what the response is. So replace this with Matt Alibo dash labeled dash by dash AI. Issue number is going to be 1, and label we're going to do area slash action. Let's see, did I authenticate this properly? Paste that in there. Oh dear. Let's see what happens. Can I do dash dash JSON? Remove label title, add assigning, add label, body, string, read the text body from a file, milestone. Okay, so we can't do that. It's just, that's it. No response, we run that. So there we go. And of course we need to maybe copy this, right? I think that's done. Applying the label, found a great label. To apply the reasoning is that, and that. Actually, we don't need to do that, right? Because this found a great label is over there. So we're going to remove that for now. Oops, I'm going to undo all my hacks over here at the bottom. Repo URL, right? So we're applying the label, and you've got the issue number, the repo URL, and of course, let's just move this actually with $label, $label. Oops. Okay, and then we're done. Now we want to copy this and add a comment. And of course, in our inputs, we want to say, hey, apply label and add comment true, whether or not to write a comment on the issue after applying the label with an explanation. Okay, so add a comment on the issue with a reason for the label. There we go. And this one's going to be apply label, and this will be add comment. ID is add dash comment, and this has input apply comment. Comment is true, and the steps selected label and selected reason, right? There you go. Selected label, selected reason. Okay. Now adding a comment on the issue with the reason for the label, adding the comment. And then of course we've got the repo, the issue number, we need the label, and then this one is going to be selected reason. REA. And of course, what issues do we have here? GitHub issue help. Do we have like comment? Create a new issue? Comment, okay. Nice. Comment and body text, editor, open the browser, body text, right? Number slash URL and the text, right? That's basically it, right? GitHub issue comment body hire from GitHub. Okay. And now let's do that. So issue comment. Oops. This over here has no response. And again, this has no response. I'm assuming. Does it have a result? Let's see the manual quickly. Let's just check and see, is there a useful JSON response to issue comment? Body examples, inherits, doesn't really say anything. Okay, so we're not asking for anything, we're telling it something, so basically it's going to crank up that brightness a bit. Comment. How did they say we're supposed to use this? GitHub issue comment dash dash repo dash dash body repo dash dash comment dash dash body, and of course we're going to do liaison. So we've got the repo URL, we've got the issue number in there, we've got the label, which you don't actually need the label, and the reason. Okay. Let's rename the body. Let's add a new body. Body, and we're gonna do is equal to, I think you do that, and do layout select layer reason because $reason bold. Let's put that in backticks. I feel like the backticks mean something in PowerShell. Let's just check and see what happens. So we'll do echo hello backtick hi backtick. Oh, 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 I see the first one's gone. Okay. We need double backticks. Hi AI has selected the label wow for this issue because there we go. Because reason. Because actually I'm going to do a new line. Let's break this up into paragraphs. Right? Because new line, close that. So multi-line strings in PowerShell. Let's not do that. I actually want to have more control over what it is. So the body, back tick, 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 tick. Then we do plus. Then we're going to do reason, right? And then we're going to do back tick in. And then, of course, I want to do another one. If this is not correct, please change the label. You can, is it not correct? You can change the label to the correct one and also open an issue. Then with the correct one. There we go. Let's just do that for now. All right. And then of course we're going to send $body instead. Okay. That's basically it. It's done. It's dusted. We're not going to test anything. We're going to push to production. The problem is now it's hard to test, right? We can't write some sort of interface, if you will, or some sort of mocking framework to say, hey, expect a request with this exact parameters. Did I get my spacing right? Did I get my formatting right? Well, we don't know. Add the label and a comment. So this is why it's nice to have it in a testable form rather than just PowerShell code. But let's see what happens. Let's open our test issue. Oh, oh, it happened. It's so quick. No, I added the label. Quickly take off the label. Remove the label. Where's the AI? There we go. Oh dear, everything's gone red. Finding the label. Applying the label to the issue. Applying the label. Invalid issue format. Does that mean issue number is blank? Okay. GitHub dot event. Am I missing like GitHub dot event dot issue? Let's see what I did over here. GitHub event dot issue. Come on, Matthew. That issue. GitHub event issue dot number. There we go. And GitHub issue. Oh, so what's difficult to see. This technically, if you look over here, it's got no coloring and formatting. If you look at the actual workflow, it's got these nice little brackets with the telesense over here. So it's very hard to make an action with, you know, everything. So once this works and it's happy, I might actually just move it into the GitHub function, the Azure function, so that, you know, I don't have to deal with this issue right over here where I didn't have the right, you know, path. So let's see. Whoop. The heart in this room. Oh, it's choked and died. Let's just see. I did that AZD app. It said didn't find any changes. Here's our dashboard. That's great. Let's see what it is. Issue format. My goodness. Issue number. All right. Let's just test it out over here in the workflow. Right. This is where we start to do the GitHub dot event dot issue dot number. Right. So that. Oh, I didn't replace both. I did replace both of them, but let's just. Any changes? No. Oh, this is my test workflow. So let's just, because it's a test workflow, I have to handle this particular annoying incident, but I'll fix that. So the testing thing is I'm actually, if you got it here, I'm just loading the file and I'm sending that in over here. So unfortunately, because otherwise I'll have to keep commenting on an issue and I can't just type and send it off. So, but that's no biggie. I just need to go over here to over here, and you know what? My outputs were good. Let's go over here and do selected label reasoning and do issue number just over here. Issue underscore number and do dollar issue dot number. And let's just do it here. Go and replace this issue number with dollar env issue underscore number. And of course we pop that yeah. And we do issue number over that. All right, yeah, it is what it is. Make sure because yeah, testing reasons. If this was not a test, if I didn't have this test workflow that loaded this random JSON data from a file, then it would work. But yeah, it's hard to test and write the action as well, which is why you would potentially create all of this in a testable format and then have the action call into that. But I want to get something working, otherwise you spend all day over engineering the system and have nothing working. Let's run that action again. We'll get there eventually, folks. Whoa, my gosh, that was quick. That was quick. AI is so quick, but I stink. Applying the label. Failed to update GraphQL resource not accessible integration. Okay. Shall I? Yeah. So let's quickly copy this. We're going to call this read only, right? And this is the one we have now, and we're going to do dash apply dash label is false and do add comment is false, right? We want that to work, but this one is the real one. We need to ask GitHub for additional permissions. So GitHub workflow permissions add label. on the position of the GitHub token. Because each workflow creates a new token with specific permissions. And in our case, this job ID runs on, where do we put that? Jobs.jobid.permissions. So jobs.jobid.steps run and do permissions. And we do label issues right. Can I do labels? Okay, issues right. Let's see issues. Issue right. We must add a comment to an issue. That so right. This is needed for writing purposes, and then the read-only one, that should work. So, whoops, do that. We're duplicating it. Test. Send that in. Push to origin, and let's have a look now. It's going to work. So that's nice to know GitHub is protecting our code from bad actors hacking. No, yes, that. Now, of course, we can make a cool app with a cool icon. The AI selected layer area action for this issue because the issue mentions having because for the and gave this. Okay, let's do that. And there we go, area action. Let's take that off. Action. Get AI response. This is gave the following reason. Right? Should that be block quoted? Right? Is that cool to do? If this, let's do that. Let's just formatting. Let's do that. And then I think I'll turn off my test repo, make it the real one, and then test what happens when I comment. But I think this is done. It's pretty quick. As I push that and I refresh this, should work because I should get two pipelines. Both should be green. There we go. Great. Now this one's running. There we go. Oh, where's the yeah, all right. This is not correct. Where did that string go? Edit. Did I? Oh, I forgot the plus. And I'll take the next one. Yeah, important stuff here. And now, obviously, we want to add some logic to see if this label is already applied. We don't do anything. If we might want to have an algorithm to say if it already has an area label, then don't apply it. But that should not be possible because if it's a brand new issue, then we won't get a label. So let's take off that label to avoid explosions. Let's see. Oh, oh, oh. Double N. Let's put a double N there. So like we can test now by just editing this without having to trigger comments and stuff. Well, technically comments, you would have to close the issue and reopen the issue. So this is why it's cool to have this whole test setup. I can just I just need to type a comment, update the action and an auto run. Let's remove this label for now. Oh, there we go. Let's see what happened in that workflow with the label already applied. There we go. So that's super simple, super cool. let's test. I think we're done. We're merging it for now. Let's get the system online. And for now, we don't take care of the outputs. Can I do outputs, label, description, value? Well, I can do that, right? So I can actually say, just let me copy this, right? Issue number. Actually, we don't want that. We just want output to be a selected label. You're responsible for your own over this. Outputs, label, the label that we apply to the issue, and steps get label. And then, of course, we have another output. Let's go, oops, easy. We're here, and we do reason. And then the, oops, my goodness, the reason for the label that we apply, for the reason for the label being selected, close quote. And then we do selected reason, and we copy and cut that, right? So we've got some cool two outputs. The composite run, and then of course apply label and apply comment. We don't want that. We got cool stuff. Right. So one more time, pop that in the chat or whatever. Output. I don't know how to test outputs. I can test it by having another step afterwards. But let's have a look at the actions. Let's see what the output of this looks like. Is this the read-only one? And we get the thing. Let's see if our groups are cool. Oh. Second last one. Let's have a look and see, just to see if we want, obviously when we have a GitHub action, we want it to sort of look nice in the thing, right? So we're finding the best label, input evaluator, we're applying the label, adding a comment, and there we go, issue comment, and of course we're running the add label. There we go. All right, so we added the issue, the comment, and that's pretty cool. All right. I think break this out of a group. We ask the label, and then we come over here and say, okay, where's our group? Asking the label AI, and then we do debug output, request body, debug, invoke a response. Then we can end the group over here, fail. Otherwise, we end the group over here, I think. Let's move that there. Label. Right, let's just do that, right? So when you're reading your GitHub action response, let's have a look to see what the label looks like. Now, yeah, there we go. Select the label action. Very cool. All right, let's close that. This is the real one, I think. Here we go, and then found the label. Yeah. So if we look at the other action now, should have quite a nice output, a bunch of points, then a label saying what's happening. Here we go. It's running, validating, loading, asking labels, found a label, the reasoning is, then applying the label and adding a comment. Okay, so I think that considers our amazing action. It's done, it's dusted, there's no bugs. So this is our action. So let's update the read-only to the workflow testing and the action testing. That's fine. That's fine. That's what we can keep this here, right? Doesn't really matter. But the labeler, we now need to come in and theoretically, I can go over here and say, hey, actually make this testing and then do this read only. and writable, just so we can find it later. Writable. And then this one, theoretically, I can just complete all of that, right? And of course, the way is, why is that? Just copy the whole thing. Yeah, we don't need the name. We don't have the branches. This only works when a GitHub issue is created. We don't need to check out the repo. We don't need to do any of this. We're literally going to run a single action like that. Boom. I want to do another one where I can pass in an issue and then give it, what I might do next is give it a group of labels. Say, for example, here's the area labels, right? Not just a single area pattern. It'll be like rather area patterns, for example. And then you'll say, hey, this is this issue. It's got the area groups. It's got the operating system, which we saw we created all those other ones in the beginning, all those sort of groups or categories or things. So let's do this. Let's just fix the final workflows. Okay, push that all in. Here we go. Workflow, read, write, and apply labels. Just make sure this all works. Oh, there's another comment being applied. It's amazing. And this thing should be finished by now, right? They all ran. I don't know why that's taking forever. It's done. All right, so that worked. Let's go over to our pull request. Let's merge this. Draft, ready for review. And of course, we can squash and merge this, and we do add the initial of the label action. Squash and merge, done. I didn't even check to see what it was, so we can delete, just keep that branch action testing for now. I've just got 4 files. I have the workflow, the action, label it, the 2. Yep. So our real final production repo has a single action. It has 2 testing workflows plus the real one. So you wouldn't have the testing one in your repo, but you would have the labeler. So testing how this all works, I can go over here and do, what should we do? What labels do we have? Let's see if we can test it. Okay. Multiple labels at once. Labels at once. Using a multiple groups of labels at once. Right now, the AI only applies a single label to an issue, but if we want to have multiple labels be applied, right, we will have to run the action multiple times. For example, I may want to apply a area slash star and a OS slash star label to the issue. Let's see. Oh, our action is running. Oh, it's called test workflow. That's what we need to change. So let's go actually pull our, let's go edit it online. Right, we're taking, shall we label, okay, we'll do label issue now. There we go. Functionality, AI, apply label, which put in artificial intelligence, area AI. Let's see, what did I actually say? I don't think that. The AI. Delete. Let's try it again. Now we're going to have to edit that, actually. Let's go edit that. And sort of a backup to have it reopen, right? So opened, actually. I think it's edited, and this one would be like apply label and got it. I think let's go check there. See, right, issue opened. I think I want to do reopened. Reopened. There. Changes, make a new branch. We're going to call this dev slash fix workflow. Fix the workflow name, workflow the job name, and allow retry. Let's create that. Quickly do that. Create a pull request. Let's see. Nothing should be running now, right? Nothing. Squash and merge. Nothing. Cool. So the AI right now, the action only applies. Update the comment. Close it. And when we reopen it, AI should kick off. We delete that branch. We go to actions. There we go. It's going. I'm confident it's going to work. So let's go over here. Hit that refresh button just for goodness. And we scroll down to the bottom and let's see. There we go. Action. This is language that fails to use a category of action. Whatever, right? So it's not perfect. May need to change my prompt to say, hey, if it talks about AI, it's referring to the system as a whole, so look for other keys, things like that, right? But I have an AI label, so technically I told it there's an option that AI is broken. Then in my description I said the AI is broken. So so let's fix this issue, right? We're happy, we're done, we're shipping the product, it's amazing. So now we can use this right now, but one last thing, as I say, I want to do, one last thing. The next thing I want to do is make it do categories of labels, because I do have, for example, area, I have OS, and I have -T for type. So where do we change that? Well, probably we're going to need to first go there, pull that. Let's do a new branch, and we're going to call this multi-label. All right, so let's minimize this. Let's minimize the inputs. Okay, we actually need to change the label pattern. What is inputs? Can it be an object? GitHub workflow input. GitHub action inputs. Workflow syntax for GitHub metadata syntax. Types, inputs, types. Okay, for manual workflows. Let's see. Name, right? What? This is workflow. Action, custom action, or GitHub custom action. Probably can use. I can't use that because. About custom actions, do we have a schema for this? Hmm. Inputs. Here we go. Metadata syntax for GitHub Actions. I think Run. Does this have inputs? There we go. That's what I'm looking for. ID required default deprecation message. Okay. So technically, if I am to think about this, let's go here to prevent explosions. Can I disable? Is it like enable, disabled? Uh, have work metadata. There we go. No, now it's YAML syntax. Workflow syntax for uh, actually, let's. This doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. It's going to keep applying it to label one. So what I want to do here is we're going to call this oops, area, and that's going to be that. We're going to call this type, and that's going to be T, and we're going to do this called OS, and that's going to be dash OS. Let's see. A mapping was not expected. That pattern sequence. Oh my gosh, how do we do this? Um, String? No, it's a string. Inputs. It's a workflow metadata. Yeah, custom action inputs complex object. There we go. Object is a variable. Let's see. Fine. There we go. How to use array input. That's at least better. Okay. I think food has arrived, so Jason to Jason and join. Okay. Sort of disappointing. I had great ideas. To look at the action. Let's see what they got. Input secrets. that. Can I do that? Can I hack the mainframe? So let's see. What is YAML multi-line string? Let's see what those ones. Maybe I'm just clicking random pages. Here we go. New line block, um, block chomping. Line assigned to strip it. Identity indicator. I suppose one way to avoid to get out of this, right? I saw people create a sort of a labeler. Let's do that, right? So, let's see how horrible is this. What actually happens if I do that, right? So this is going to be a multi-line string. Right, technically I could parse that with the YAML parser, right? So that everything in here. But I don't know if that is that cool, right? So would I want to have like you would have in the .github and you create a thing called your new file. You could just use labeler.yaml labeler rules. Maybe let's go with that. And then in here you would have the apply labels here. One thing I can get checked to see what cool people do. I know in the Microsoft repos we got, let's go to Maui. Oh, let's look at the Skier shop. I know where that one is. And then in the .github there is a is it a workflow? I thought I knew where it was, but it's gone. .config. No. Yeah, let's go look at .NET Maui. And then we got, is it First off, we've got Dependabot, right, which does this whole thing. Policies, resource management, okay, you can do subfolders, and here it is, right? So you understand what all of this is. Disable is false, where, and then configuration, and then so if we want to have a cool automatic chunk of sort of a bunch of actions to help us do things. For example, labeling issues. Right now, I'm using this as well in Skier Sharp. It does a whole bunch of stuff. And does things like stale reminders. I don't know if anyone has access to this. Who is this a public thing? I feel like I had to, I had to sort of ask someone in the company to please do this. So maybe this is something we'll do. But rather than having, we'll have one big YAML, but we have a whole bunch of mini actions that would, for example, scheduled searches, look for close stale needs info issues. So we look for, looks like every midnight, every day. This might be a cron job, to be honest. And then filters, we look for its issue, is open, has label, and the label is needs info, or no recent activity. And then activity since 3 days, and then actions to close, right? So this is quite a big YAML file, but technically we could have either one big YAML file with the various rules. So it's difficult to find stuff in this one. Have a stale close, right? Because I think this is closed source internal use only, but this does have quite a few things that I would use in my repos. Now, obviously, I am fortunate that the repo that I use is internal to Microsoft, and said internal repo is a company repo, blah, 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 blah. So free stuff, right? But if I was not this, and this was my personal repos, I can't just go and say, hey, please add my stuff. And I would like to do this in my own repos to help me figure out things. So let's do that actually. Um, this one was GitHub policies for source management, and then let's for now call it labeler rules, right? And then we'll do, what did they do here? Let's say this is the sort of the ultimate complications resource repository where this means. So what we're going to do is we're going to call this ID. Let's give it an ID, and we'll say, hey, this is label management for now, and let's give it a name or description, and let's do name, and this will be describe AI. What is this thing? What is not allowed? Like, this is my custom YAML, bro. And then it'll be this one will be no, okay, let's scrap all of that. Let's create it actions, and then of course in the actions one we're going to do labeler labeled by AI. In fact, labeled by AI, and then this one will be rules. There we go. Let's just do that. The area, the repository type of issue, operating system of the issue. There we go. Pattern like that. Perfect. So when I load the YAML, let's just do this. Yeah, I'll actually, how would I get this to GitHub function? What is a good way to get it to the function? Take this thing, send as a string as part of the body. Then the function can read this and say, oh, what are the important things? Or should I, yeah. How do I convert this? Is JSON, is JSON better, right? Why? Is JSON better? Right? So I can go over here and say object, and I do actions, and then I do labeled by AI, and this one has an object, and this object has rules. Oops. And these rules are going to be an array, right? And this one will be one object will be let's call this name, and this one will be apply area labels, and then this will be pattern, and then let's do regex, and then what was that? That was dot star. No, we actually don't want dot star, we want dot something, area slash something. There we go, right? And then we'll go over here and say, hey, name, apply OS labels, OS, and then of course we want to do name is going to apply type labels. Look at that, AI is picking it up. And do format document, like YAML or JSON. Is there a thing, right? Wait a second, can PowerShell parse YAML? Let's see. we need some sort of extension. Yeah. It doesn't matter, right? You could have a YAML or JSON, but for now, let's just do JSON because, I mean, everything's YAML, right? So just copy that. Let's undo all of this. Then rename to rules YAML. There we go. Cancel. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Getting smart. Let's pop that in here. Right, so this is both what we could do. Actions, there were AI rules, name, area, type, operating system of the issue. Okay, let's do YAML. And we'll do some cool functions. Woohoo. Can we fix using Copilot? Just the structure accordingly. Yeah, okay. Cancel, bro. Close. Okay. So there we go. And we're going to do version 1. There we go. Wow, versions. And then, of course, this one, we can actually delete this label pattern. We're updating our thing, issue JSON, and apply labels. In this one, we're going to have some override rules, but assuming the perfect world is we're going to have it do that. And then, of course, label and testing, we're going to say, hey, no label patterns, right? Okay. So, in our action, we're going to do, and we're going to do config, yeah, oops, yeah. Right, we still need to do config, and we're going to do required is false, no, and default is nothing, right? So let's just put a, here we go, inputs to allow for configuration, only one should be used, right? Then apply label, inputs to allow for control of the action, there we go, and this one will be back colon. Let's see, input allow for testing purposes, there we go. So and of course issue GitHub issue label pattern, and then we're going to have label names. This would be labels, and you know what? Labels, patterns. What do you have to do? Should I just delete it and say, hey, just use the configuration? Let's just do that. Let's in the real world, it's going to be multiple labels for multiple things, and there we go. Make life easier. Labels. Right, we still need to do that, so let's do that. So if I specify the labels, then we only use the, okay, label names, input dot is a dash labels. And let's put this here. Should be used. Oops. They are each only one to be used at a time, and they are and the inputs are in the order of precedence. Config is the highest. But if you've got a config, no. Precedence labels, exact labels, greater than pattern matching. No pattern. Oops, that's supposed to be there. Exact labels. Oh my goodness, I'm doing terrible things. Pattern matching, label pattern, and using the config file. Label yeah. Label pattern matching. Yeah. So maybe I have a whole bunch of them that have this thing, right? You can either override it or you can use a config file or the one big config file that everyone uses. You can mix it in and yeah, go into 1,000 config files. So or the config label rules actions. Okay, labeled by AI. Yeah. Okay. I think that's sensible. Go to our action. Here we go. And of course, what have we done here? Let's test out, for example, label names, label pattern, label pattern, label pattern, and let's see, does AI config file? Config. Can AI help me write this comment? Configuration file for the action. The exact labels to look through, right? Okay. So this is for testing. No issues found to label. Okay. GitHub issue, blah, blah, blah. Loading labels. So what I want to do is I want to first check to see if label names, right? Label regex, label selector, label results. Here we go. Total labels, label names, right? Who uses dot labels? No one. Everyone uses dot label names. So yeah, split on comma. Otherwise, we get config and we load from JSON. Config. We have to change the import. So let's leave out config file for now quickly. So if we've got label names, use label names. Otherwise, use label pattern, which is what I want to do. Label regex, label names. There we go. So if I provide the labels, we split that into label names, right? So let's move this. Yeah. Labels is all the labels. So if I provide label names, then you just use the label names, right? If I haven't provided label names, then you use the pattern. So let's do that. Let's test this particular feature of the action right now. We're not going to commit anything else. Let's just do action testing, right? Let's delete action testing. Let's delete this. Dev action testing, we delete, and we can delete remote action testing. We're going to rename this to dev action testing. Rename action dash testing. I think that's what I want. Action testing. And we're not going to use that yet. You know, use that. Yes, we're gonna do actually this. Let's test the read only for now. Gone ahead and oops. Let's keep that. Let's do labeler testing. Just deleted. Oops. There we go. And we can do labels, and we're gonna call this. What they said you do that. Area action area slash AI and area slash function. I think that's those three. This one, where was GitHub? GitHub. It could pause multi-line, YAML strings, objects as variable. What did they say? How did these guys do it? Okay. Yeah. Oops. I want to go look at, here we go, testing. Look in these labels, right? The GitHub Action, over here, and we need to split on backtick new line. Oops, oh my goodness, new line. And our shall split on new line and trim lines. Okay, whatever. Let's do that, right? Yeah, that's fine, right? Where did I see that nice what they did? It's that cool thing that the guy did. There you go, array input. That's what I want. Then these folks, they did cool things, right? So this is what I want. And then I go to me action. So we just learn from the experts, right? That's how we do it. We learn from experts. There we go. And then what is this input? Secrets. Do they do any processing here in the action? Just is there going to be a new line? Let's see. Our secrets ref. There we go. Split on R and N. Bars line. Okay. PowerShell. You know what? I'm just going to ask Copilot. Yeah. Give me the answer to this. I have a multi-line string. No. I see F Hardix followed me just now. Welcome. Join the party of me fiddling around with AI. Yeah, I'm writing a bot to auto label issues. How can I use PowerShell to split a string on new lines and then trim each line? The lines may have dash n, n and or it may be dash r dash n. Let's see this AI the answer. I can Google it, I can search it. Yeah, let's see. Oh, I broke AI. It's so complicated, but split RN and then trim. That's just that. I mean, split on dash. Can I? How do they do that? Split pipe. Is that how it works? Dash R slash dash R. And then actually I can just do this. Let me pipe that to here. Oh my goodness. Go. So the way this works is equal to the environment variable. We split it, and then we take for each object. Oh my goodness. I didn't select in the right direction, but whatever. We trim, and they're not equal to null. There we go. Look at that. Wow. I'm doing some hectically advanced things here. Let's verify that. Okay. So let's do hello, paste anyway, split. We just got hello. Then of course we could have, I'll do that. Hello, welcome, cars, like that. Paste anyway. Oh my goodness, what? I did a close quote. How does this work? No, oh, before the end of the line. Maybe I'm, oops, started that text there, text there, text there, then that's how it works, no? I'm gonna do it. Oh my gosh. I shall close. I shall D-line string. Oh my goodness, I don't even know how to do that. I feel like it should be so simple. Oh, okay. So, hello, multi-line cars, fish, fix, and I do carrot, colon, n, test, book slash r, tag in slash r, tag in, noon. Go. Oh, noon or whatever. There you go. Hello. Okay, I didn't like that. Can I do that? Then the object from the object like that, right? That's greater than 0. How can I filter out empty? Split trim lines. For each trim, where object is not equal to, right? Am I doing something wrong? Yeah. You know what? Let's scrap that for now. Whatever. Let's do the trimming in the hub. So, you know what? Let's not even do that. Let's splitting that, and let's Is there a way to not use the full for each object? A shorthand. Let's do that. I want it to be cool. I want to be hip. Dot where? Okay, that's all wrong, but anyway. Thanks for suggesting that. Okay. It's a bit annoying why the where splits on R, splits on N. Dash R N O, the R. It says R's are still there. Gonna do dash R with nothing. Just quickly test something. I think this is just lying to me now. Dash N. Yeah. Then let's do that. And remove R over here. Let's see that. Replace dash R with dash N, just in case. Split on the N, nothing. And just do for each object there. And then do dot trim dot length, right? 40. There we go. The AI is giving me the wrong one. Let's go all the way back here. Yeah. AI. So you don't trust AI, or did I do it wrong? Let me check. What did I say? Did I give it lies? Yeah, I gave it backslashes. There it is, backslashes. Then it did it wrong. The reason you use the backtick is to escape. We're not escaping. Well, I don't know. Who are we? You're not here to question the system. So let's go over there. Copy that as we want. Let's go head over to there. That's why you never trust AI. Paste that. Paste. Boom. Done. There we go. Okay. So we're cleaning up our inputs. Obviously, we want to clean it up on the function side as well, but whatever. Here we got our label names, or we can use a regex pattern, and then our label rules. I said label testing. Here we go. I just want to use those three. So head over here, go to our action. We're doing the config. That's fine. I'm actually using it right now. Wait a second. Let's actually fix that. That's incorrect. Else, if, and we do, oops, label pattern. Okay. And go. Right. So right now we look at the labels. If it's provided, we use that. Otherwise, we use a regex and we ask GitHub, hey, please give us the regex. And then, of course, we're going to fall back to a config. And then, of course, we're going to pass the whole config to the server. Config file is going to take that and process it. So what do we actually want to do? That's going to have to query GitHub from the server. This one here is querying it, so we can do it here, or we can create a fake config. Or should we just pass it all to the server? Yeah, I mean, what am I doing? Well, I'm processing here, I'm cleaning it up, right? But why? Like over here, I'm querying this, right? For the config, I'm going to have to load the config, check the groups, and say, oh, it's area 1, area 2, and area, oh, whatever, category 1, category 2. Oh, my work is starting in 3 minutes. My goodness, I'm going to have to quit that. But anyway, we finished the Azure function. I'm just doing some cool stuff. But I think it's time for us to move all of this logic into the function, right? We should be okay. And we pass the, let's try that. We pass the token. So I'm going to do that offline, just get this part going now that I'm figuring out what I want. But this we can test this now. Actually, just to be fun, we've got a new action, right? We've got a label output and label names, and of course we go over here. We've got our testing function. We've got a read only. That's going to fine for now. But this testing one, it's just going to use labels raw, and we're going to do test explicit labels, right? And then of course we can head over to here, 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 and then of course wait, GitHub Action, test explicit labels here, and this is the writable one, which means it choked and died for some reason. I probably got some bad else. Oh my goodness, Matthew, else if. See, this is silly, right? Fixing typos in PowerShell. That PowerShell needs to be as thin as possible and just go to the server, and the server does the work. Let's try that again. Read only. What did we say read only was? The writable one, right? Which one did we do? This is the writable. The writable is using the explicit. Right, so this should go to the server, and it should say loading labels, and do I list the labels? Here we go. Action, area, function, AI, test, bunch of them. Very exciting. But the other one, writable, this should load only the 3. Right? Validating inputs, you are here. Oops, not that one. Loading labels. No labels match the contents of the issue. Wow. Area, action, area, AI, area, function. That is interesting. We can go over to our where would that be? That would be in the function logs. So we go to monitoring. We go to our sites. I believe logs is what I'm looking for. Let's see. What did the AI say? I wonder why. Or is it no? I need to go. Let's go to my. Here we go. Where did I deploy here? There we go. Let's go to the dashboard. And let's see. Just going to try and log me in with corporate ID. My meeting has started. And I've got to go. But anyway, I've got to go to my meetings. I'll check to see the log, what's that, and then I'll play around making AI smarter. But yeah, I mean, that's fun. I mean, ugh, my goodness, that's horrible. I will, yeah, it's been fun. Basically, we've effectively made our labeler work. I may even play around with a read-only version, and see what happens on the repo, and see what happens, see how accurate it is. Anyway, it was fun. Thanks, folks, for hanging out. I will vanish now and back to work. I got work to do. So with that said, thank you very much. I'll see you at the next one.